Yes, the difficulties, the darkness, the confusion, and all the different hurdles that we may have in our life, which are not very long or not very short, it's a middle size. So the meaning of this sutta is called the root of all things. The root of all things, which means to understand how everything starts in our life. Why it is important to understand the root? Because when you know the root, you can understand everything that happens. The root also means, you can say, the cause. The cause, if you understand, then you can understand everything. So this sutta, Buddha spoke when he was staying in a place called Ukata, in a park called Subhaga Park, under a tree, Sala tree. So he spoke to the monk. So this was spoke to a group of monks. So Buddha says that here, bhikkhus, an untaught ordinary person who has no regard for the noble ones and is unskilled and undisciplined in their dhamma, who has no regard for true person and is unskilled and undisciplined in their dhamma, perceives earth as earth, and will perceive earth as earth, he conceives himself as earth, he conceives himself in earth, he conceives himself apart from earth, he conceives earth to be mind, he delights in earth. Why is that? Because he has not fully understood it, I say. Okay, so Buddha is speaking about the ordinary person, what we call in Pali Puthujjana. Puthujjana means the ordinary. So before we are enlightened, all of us are Puthujjana, which means the ordinary people. And ordinary, or you can say the common people, or you can say unenlightened people. So we are all unenlightened people. And it is very important for us to know that, because when you know that you are still unenlightened, then you want to be enlightened. And then you also do not expect everyone to be like enlightened, to be perfect. Right? So it's also helpful, I feel, so that we can, especially when we see weakness or mistakes in people. You see, we see some mistake in people, some people hurt us, some people do some problem for us. So when that happens, you can bring in mind that everyone is still unenlightened. You see. So when you think about people as unenlightened, so you are compassionate to people. Right? You understand that people are not perfect, not enlightened yet. So people will do some mistake. It's not sometimes they want to do it purposely, they want to hurt you purposely, but it is because of their own weakness. It is because of their own state of mind, in which we are also included. I mean to say that we too are on the same page. You know, we are all in that same boat. So then we are compassionate to people. You see, so we don't expect people to be totally perfect for us. So we still be compassionate to people. do our best to help people in whatever way possible, how much we can. We try to understand, we can try to help people in whatever way possible by being compassionate. We can do that. So it's a very important word for Tuchana, the unenlightened people. So while somebody is totally ordinary Patujana or unenlightened, because they have no full confidence yet in the Aryas, in the enlightened people. As an unenlightened person, we are not still totally confident of the Buddha and also other enlightened people. We may have some regard, but we don't have full regard. Of course, there are people who will not have at all any regard for noble ones. Means somebody who is enlightened. This is also important for us, because when you believe, or when you know, or when you have this understanding that there are people who are enlightened in this world, there are people who are enlightened. When you have that knowledge, or that kind of faith, that kind of confidence, then you want to be enlightened as well. Right? So you have a purpose. You have now a way. You have now a clarity that I can also be enlightened. Otherwise, we are just so much engrossed, so much busy in our day-to-day activity, which is good, but then if you think that as the end, just our day-to-day thing as the end, as everything, as a goal, then we don't have something higher, something bigger, something ultimate. So we are not connected to the ultimate, to the enlightenment, to the wisdom. So that is also one difficulty if you don't have that. And when you don't have that, then you will be just circling around and you will be suffering. You will be in difficulty, you will be going through all kinds of confusion and all kinds of disturbances and trouble and everything that we can experience. So when you have that kind of, you can also call it some kind of ideal that you follow. Like you have certain ideal. We speak about ideal, right? In our life, we speak about, I have this as my ideal. So you can have that, as all the enlightened people who did it, right? So it's very important for us to develop that kind of faith and understanding, so that we also can develop that as we go about in our day-to-day life, in our ordinary life. And who is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma. So, unskilled. So, generally, this is something that we see in our life, that we are often unskilled. We are not skillful enough to be able to live a peaceful life, to live a happy life. There is some unskillfulness that many people have, and a lot of us also have. We are also not totally skillful, but say we are practicing. So this is something that we can say, and undisciplined. So we know a lot of people undisciplined. So when there is no discipline, then there is a difficulty, and there is a problem. And perceive. So what you do when you have all these things, you perceive earth as earth, which means earth here means anything that you see, any physical, physical, in other words, physical, anything physical. It can be people, it can be things. So you perceive earth as earth, which means you see forms, the people, the things as something which is very, as something which is strong, or in other words, we can say permanent. You almost, whatever you see, we don't have this idea that this will change. Right? So we are totally attached to it. So that means you perceive earth as earth. He conceives himself as earth. He thinks he is the earth, which means he is sort of owns. He is that. Like we think say somebody or something. We think that as me. He conceives himself in earth. You think you are part of it, or sometimes you think you are apart from it. Which means this is me. This is not me, or this is mine. So it means you are whatever we see, we try to be part of it and not part of it. You see, or this is mine. It can also go to say whether it is land, whether it is people. These are my people. These are not my people. This is my land. This is not my land. This is a foreign land. So all these kind of you, me, and all these things come if you are not clear about anicca, which is impermanent. Whatever that is there here is all temporary. It's all temporary. But if we are unenlightened, if we are not wise enough, then we think it is permanent. It means that we don't necessarily say it, but it is there in the mind, and because of that, we so much attach to everything that we experience, all the forms, all the things that we see. Okay, and so he delights in art. So which means we sort of enjoy. We sort of enjoy. We say, okay, this is me, this is mine, this is my people, this is another people, this is my house, this is, like all this is my country. So all these things comes, and then you sort of hold on to it, and you like it, you enjoy it. Of course, there's nothing wrong to say, this is my land, that is my land, but then back in our mind, we should say, whenever we say that this is mine, we should be saying, we should be aware at the same time that this is temporary. This is temporary. So when you say when you think it is temporary, then it is wisdom. Then you don't totally grasp. You don't so much cling to everything that you see, all the forms. So when you don't have that, so you hold on to it. But however much you hold, it is going to change. It is anyway going to change. So and when it changes, you suffer. You are going to suffer. So that is the reason why we need to have this understanding of of anicca, change. Everything is changing. So, especially we have to see anything that we are so much attached to. So just say it is temporary. I am temporary. My mother, father, daughter, son, children, house, car, name, everything is temporary. It's temporary, for some time, just for some time. Including good and bad experiences, nice or not so nice, including, now it is just one, but then Buddha speaks many other things in itself, quite long, whether it is feeling, whether it is, Buddha speaks about the four elements, that is water, earth, which means that in short the whole body, our body and physical world, and it includes everything. And in the same way, Buddha goes on to say the divine world, the Brahma world, all the different kinds of world that are there. Everything is not permanent. Everything is just going to change. Keeps on changing all the time. So, and you also must know that everything is going to change, and if I hold on to, I will suffer, dukkha. If I don't hold, then I don't suffer. And then anatta, which means no self, which means that since it is changing, so why should I hold? Why should I think it is mine? Because it is going to change. So this is what Buddha instructed in this place, and there are different people, the enlightened people who, the not fully enlightened people who are enlightened but not fully enlightened. They actually are somebody who are training themselves. So we are also not still enlightened, but we can train. We have to start. Now we have to start somewhere to just have this understanding of anicca, impermanent. It sounds very simple, but it is very strong. It is very profound. It is very helpful. You can say it is extremely beneficial, powerful. Because our mind, we are attached to so many different things, and it is more of a mind. You don't need to just say you are attached to something. You don't need to just throw away things. Maybe you are attached to people. You are attached to house. You don't need to leave your house. You don't need to leave somebody whom you are attached to. But have them, but at the same time, this understanding that change. And especially when I feel that whatever past, you have lost something in the past. Whatever something you lost, and you feel unhappy because of something that you lost. It can be anything, things or say name or fame or relationship or whatever. Everything you can say, okay, it had to happen. You have to tell it had to happen. It will happen. It had to happen. And whatever now, maybe you are somehow, maybe currently something you are afraid that, I may lose this, I may lose that. So there also you can bring in this idea that, it may lose, I may lose it, and it's okay. I may lose it, I may not lose it, but I'm fine. It is how it is. It is how the characteristic of life. It is what the nature of life. That's how life is. So when you have this understanding, then you won't suffer, and then you won't hold on to it as me and mine. And anything future, say suppose something you are thinking about some future thing, and you are attached to it, and then you have a certain fear that, oh, I may lose it, then at that time it's also you have to tell, yeah, I may lose it. I may lose it, but I will be fine, because everything is going to be lost at the end. Everything is going to be left behind at the end. You know. So everything ends and starts. It's all about something ends and something starts. So it's just the process, right? You die and you are born again. You know, somebody comes and somebody goes in your life, and something you achieve, something you lose, but again you because you lost something, but you achieve something else. You know, so like that. This is how the very nature of life itself. It's not we are creating it; it's how it is. You know, but then this is how it is. But we don't have that understanding. We don't see it. We don't see the life like this. You know, in its truth, that is anicca. So that's how we have to train ourselves, and when we do that, then what happens, as Buddha said here, is that it becomes liberated. So you lose three things. You know, you start losing, lobha, dosa, moha, that is liking, disliking, and confusion. You know, you don't attachment. You can say you don't attach to so much thing. You don't hate anything, and you don't have confusion about anything, because why don't you attach to anything? Because you know it's going to change. Why don't you hate anything? Because you know it's going to change. And why do you have clarity? Because you know it is going to change. You have the clarity that is going to change. You don't attach to things because you know it's going to change. You don't hate anything because you know it's going to change. You hate something, but it's going to change. So it's all change and change and change. That's how it is. Anicca, anicca, anicca. So please remember anicca, change in our mind, and also also change. Bring change, aspire for change within your heart, within your mind. Change for something good, And I think it is also very helpful, because if the nature of the life is changing, it's also helpful if you have understanding. But if you don't have understanding, then the change will bring you difficulty. But if you have understanding of change, then that change will help you to change for good. Because the nature of life is change, you can use the change for something better. So ultimately, we want something better, which is our wisdom, and also whatever achievement goal we have in our life, we do get it, of course, eventually. And most importantly, our mind is free, and whether we achieve something, lose something, our mind is free, and our mind is less suffering. It suffers less, and it has more happiness. It has more joy. It has more clarity. So this is what it is, and so this sutta, the root. So what is the root? We can say that root is actually the very root of things, the very nature of things is anicca. That's what we can understand from here, and we need to develop anicca as we meditate. Sometime maybe certain thing in the past we can relate to, certain thing in the present we can relate to, and certain thing in the future also we can relate to. So this is very important, anicca, the change. this understanding, awareness of change is very, very powerful, it's very, very helpful. It will free the mind, And when the mind is free, you are happy, and you can, in fact, do more, achieve more when your mind is free and calm. Even the day-to-day thing, and you achieve more, but then you are again not attached to things that you achieve, right? And then you achieve something more, then you become more free, So it's a loop, positive loop or positive change, positive cycle. Otherwise, the cycle is the other way. You attach to things, you lose things, again you attach more, again you suffer. So it's a bad cycle. So the good cycle is to have more understanding and don't attach, and the mind is peaceful. Then you achieve more, but then still you are not attached to it. That's how you go. If you look at the life of the Buddha, he for many, many lives as a Bodhisattva, he did all the good things in his life, in many, many past lives. He was achieving a lot of things, but he was relinquishing, he was giving up. Again, he was getting something, he was again living. Finally, he was born in a princely family, in a royal family, but that was due to his good, many, many life, good karma, because of giving, sharing, charity, helping people. Because of that, he became a prince, but that too he again gave up. And when he gave up, what he became? He became a Buddha, right? So he gave up. What do you call him? He was maybe king of Sakya, small kingdom. But when he gave up that, he became a teacher for the whole world. If he has not given up that kingdom, he will be only known in that small kingdom, and today we would have not known him. But he gave up that, and he became a Buddha, and the world knows him. Even today now, knows him. So you can see, if you are less attached, then you achieve more, and you can do more. Okay, so of course it doesn't mean that as a lay person you don't need to necessarily become monk like Buddha, but in your own experience, in your own day-to-day experiences, so in your own circumstances, you can actually give up, things, or at least in the mind, if not, externally. Sometimes externally as well, you can give out certain thing, relinquish certain thing whenever it is necessary. But our role, it is the practice in the mind. It is the practice in the mind, understanding in the mind, and especially in meditation. As you meditate, you get something, and then you can practice this anicca practice in the mind, that this is going to change, this has changed already, and this is how it is, this has changed, and this is no more there. Something which is gone is no more there now. So this all change, and because the samsara is in motion, it is in change. So everything changes, If it doesn't change, it will be very difficult actually. But it is changing, so because it is changing, as I said, there is a hope for something better. But it is up to us whether we change for better or we change for something worse. So it is totally in our hand, in our own self, that the Buddha taught us to practice, which is the practice of anicca. So here I conclude my talk, Dhamma talk for your contemplation, and we We thank all of you for coming and listening and joining. And please do visit every Sunday. It's every Sunday program. So it's helpful for your own mind, for your life. This program at least once in a week. It is really, really helpful for you all. And we conclude with metta chanting, wishing everyone in the universe happiness. So we have now generated a very good mind, a positive mind, a wholesome and strong mind now by engaging in this activity, spiritual activity today. So our mind is now good enough, strong enough, peaceful enough. So with this mind, let us wish for the happiness of all the beings in the universe.